أنا دكتور خالد وليد، ربان سفينة النجاة إلى شواطئ بكة القدس. I am Dr. Khaled Waleed, the captain of the ship of salvation to the shores of Baka, Jerusalem.
Imagine, just for a moment, a world where the most fundamental things, the laws of existence we often take for granted, like the flow of time, the cycle of life and death, even something as profound as the rule against killing. Imagine these weren't things humans came up with. What if they were actually etched into the universe itself long, long before us? What if our history, the story we tell ourselves, is really just, one chapter in a much older, ongoing cosmic story? Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're going on a really profound journey, I think. We're looking into the origins of divine law, the nature of existence itself, and maybe surprisingly, the unity of ancient scriptures. And we're doing this through the lens of some truly groundbreaking insights from Dr. Khaled Waleed.
That's exactly right. Our mission today, really, is to unpack Dr. Khaled Waleed's meticulously researched concept he calls the Eternal Covenant, or al-Mithaq al-Azali. We'll be exploring his findings, and these are his specific discoveries on how universal laws and a single divine message, which he identifies as Al-Furqan, have actually existed from the very dawn of creation. We're talking even before humanity as we generally think of it. And this understanding, which Dr. Khaled Waleed has brought forward, it really reshapes our whole perception of history, and maybe even faith itself. We'll be drawing straight from his key works, the Eternal Covenant, the unity of messages and divine laws, and the message of Al-Furqan, the covenant of eternal existence. He's really the one who uncovered these phenomena.
Okay, let's really dive into that. Right at the start, Dr. Khaled Waleed hits us with this core philosophical question, doesn't he? It kind of echoes through time. Do we exist in ignorance? Are we just figuring things out as we go? Or are the laws that actually sustain us, sustain the whole universe, were they already embedded in reality way before any of us showed up? It's a big question. It challenges how we usually see time, just marching forward. What did his research find?
Well, his answer, and it's based on really careful textual analysis, is pretty profound. Dr. Khaled Waleed argues that the system of time itself, something we just accept, is actually infinitely older than our individual lives. He points to phrases in sacred texts like Melik Yom Alden, owner of the Day of Judgment. For Dr. Waleed, this isn't just about some future event. No, it implies that the whole structure of time, its beginning, its end, the accountability within it, is an ancient fundamental part of existence. It didn't just start with us. And along with that, he says the concepts of death and life, these two are pre-established laws. They weren't just born from human experience or suddenly invented. And this idea directly challenges that notion that maybe existence is just born out of ignorance or chance, a chaotic unfolding without any prior design.
So instead of chaos, there's an underlying order.
Exactly. According to Dr. Khaled Waleed's findings, existence is fundamentally built upon these deep-seated pre-established laws and an ancient covenant. It's not coincidence. He sees it as a meticulously designed manifestation of divine wisdom, deeply rooted in cosmic history, right from the very beginning. This highlights a foundational order to the cosmos that absolutely precedes any known human history. It's like the bedrock upon which everything else, including humanity, was later built. It implies that, every breath, every sunrise, every cycle of life and death, it's all operating within the rules of this eternal divine agreement. That's a discovery he details extensively in his work.
That's really fascinating. It shifts the perspective entirely. So if these fundamental laws were operating even before us, what does Dr. Khaled Waleed's research tell us about what or who came before Adam? Before our specific kind of humanity? He mentioned something quite surprising, right? The existence of creatures before Adam. Can you elaborate on that? What's the basis for that claim in his research?
Absolutely. And this is where Dr. Khaled Waleed's detailed analysis gets really specific, focusing on linguistic precision in the Quran itself. He stresses the difference between two Arabic words that often get kind of blurred in translation. There's us, insan, which is more like humanity or mankind in a general sense. And then there's uth, bashar, which refers more specifically to humans as, flesh and blood beings, the form of Adam and his descendants. He argues this distinction isn't just semantics, it's crucial evidence of a multi-stage creation process.
Okay, insan and bashar, two different terms. How does that prove earlier creations?
Well, his work highlights that before Adam existed as bashar, there was already a creation from clay, an insan. He points directly to Quranic verses, like in Surah Al-Hijr, verses 15.2628. It says, "And we did create insan from sounding clay, from mud molded into shape." That's verse 26. Then verse 27 mentions the jinn being created before, from fire. Then verse 28, God announces to the angels, "Indeed, I'm going to create bashar from sounding clay." See the sequence. Dr. Waleed points out, first insan from clay and jinn from fire, then the announcement about creating Bashar. For him, this sequence is proof of a creation from clay that came before Adam's specific Bashar form. It points to this deep history of life, maybe even complex beings on Earth long before our current human line began. He argues this textual precision is really the key to unlocking this hidden part of cosmic history.
Right. I see the sequence. So, connecting that, when God announced the creation of Adam, the Bashar, to the angels, their question, about will you place one who causes corruption and sheds blood? If I'm following Dr. Waleed's logic here, that wasn't just the angels wondering about the future, was it? It was more like testimony based on what they'd already seen from these earlier insan?
Precisely. That's a pivotal point in Dr. Khaled Waleed's interpretation. He really digs into this evidence from the angels. In Quran 2:3, God says, I will make upon the earth a vice-careerant. And the angels respond, will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood? Dr. Waleed is adamant. This wasn't speculation. It wasn't a hypothetical. It was, as you said, a direct testimony. It was based on what they had previously witnessed or observed on Earth from these earlier insan creations. They weren't asking if it might happen. They were implying, look, it happened before with the previous ones. Is this going to happen again with this new Bashar?
Yeah.
It suggests they had historical knowledge.
Wow. So they had seen it before.
That's what Dr. Waleed asserts. And he argues this pre-existing knowledge isn't just hinted at in the Quran. He connects it to other ancient scriptures too. For example, he points to the book of Job, chapter 38, verses 4-7. It describes the angels being present when Earth's foundations were laid, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Dr. Waleed highlights this to reinforce their intimate prior awareness of Earth's history, including, tragically, periods of corruption and bloodshed caused by these earlier clay creations that existed before Adam's specific Bashar form. This insight, which Dr. Waleed has uncovered through his interpretation, it establishes this profound cosmic history before Adam, a history known by celestial beings. It indicates our human story is just part of a much larger ongoing narrative of creation, divine governance, and, its ancient cycles and challenges.
That really does expand the timeline, doesn't it? In a way we don't often consider. Okay, so if divine laws and even complex creatures existed before us, before Bashar, that leads to another big question. How could divine messages exist before human creation? That seems to challenge how we usually think about revelation, a prophet getting a message for humanity.
Yeah, and this is where Dr. Khaled Waleed offers what I think is a truly groundbreaking insight from his research. He proposes that the divine message itself, what he identifies as al-Furqan, meaning the criterion or the law, actually existed before human creation. It wasn't something that just popped into existence when Adam was formed. He uses Quran 55, verses 1-4, as really compelling evidence here. He urges us to look closely at the specific order. It reads, the most merciful taught the Quran created man, taught him clear expression. The order is crucial.
The most merciful taught the Quran, then created man, then taught him expression.
Exactly. Dr. Khaled Waleed interprets this precise sequence to mean that the teaching of the Quran, or the essence of the divine message, happens before the creation of man, Bashar, and even bayan, which he interprets as more than just simple speech, but the profound ability to articulate, understand, and crucially, decode the deep historical symbols within revelation. Even that capacity predates human existence. So the mechanism for revelation, the understanding, the divine message itself, al-Furqan, and its underlying laws are eternal. They're part of the cosmic order, woven into reality. Not a recent invention for humans. It fundamentally reframes revelation. It's not episodic. It's a continuous, pre-existent flow of divine truth, a core finding of Dr. Waleed.
Okay, that's a huge shift, almost mind-bending. So if these laws are ancient, foundational, let's take one of the most basic moral laws, don't kill. The story of Cain and Abel, it's often seen as the first murder, right? The moment this terrible act entered human experience. How does Dr. Khaled Waleed's work make us reevaluate that story, given this idea of pre-existing cosmic laws?
Well, Dr. Khaled Waleed's perspective completely reframes that story. It moves Cain and Abel from being the origin of the law against killing to being an affirmation of a law that was already deeply established in the cosmos. He explains that the murder by Adam's son wasn't the absolute first time the sanctity of life was violated in creation's history. Instead, it served as this stark, tragic confirmation of a much older, pre-existing divine law that already strictly prohibited taking a soul. He directs us to the Quranic account in Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verses 27-30, the story itself.
Right, the story we know. But what's the key interpretive point for Dr. Waleed?
The key, according to Dr. Waleed, lies in the very next verse, Quran 5.32. It says, because of that, We decreed upon the children of Israel that whoever kills a soul, and so on. Now, many traditional readings take because of that to mean because Cain killed Abel, therefore we made this law, implying the law started then. But Dr. Waleed argues, no, that phrase, because of that, isn't solely pointing to Cain's crime as the cause of the law. He sees it as textual evidence, an indicator, that this profound law against killing already existed. It was embedded in the cosmic order long before Adam's sons. Cain's terrible act simply highlighted its immense gravity and consequence. And because of that event, the pre-existing law was then specifically reiterated and codified upon the children of Israel, due to its ancient universal importance. So it shows the sanctity of life was a cosmic principle from the start, a divine principle humanity was meant to uphold, not just a rule made up after the first human transgression. It points to that continuous pre-existing moral framework he discovered.
That's a really significant rereading. Does Dr. Khaled Waleed connect this idea, this ancient pre-existing law against killing, to other ancient texts as well, to show it wasn't just one instance?
Oh, absolutely. His research carefully connects this concept across traditions, reinforcing its eternal nature. For instance, he points to the Torah, the commandment, "You shall not murder," from Exodus 20.14. It appears later in the 10 Commandments given to Moses. For Dr. Waleed, the fact that it's part of this foundational code for the children of Israel, presented as a divine decree, confirms its status. It's an eternal, fundamental divine law that clearly predates its specific writing in the Decalogue. It wasn't brand new for Moses' time. It was a restatement, a confirmation of a higher existing law.
Okay, so the Torah confirms it. Any other connections?
Yes. He also brings in the philosophical tradition found in the Talmud. He highlights that profound concept you often hear quoted. Whoever destroys one life, it is as if he destroyed an entire world, and whoever saves one life, it is as if he saved an entire world. This idea, which has roots way back in the Mishnah Sanhedrin 4.5, it deeply resonates with the eternal sanctity of life. It underlines the ancient, universal, and profound nature of this law, a core principle of the eternal covenant that Dr. Waleed identified. By drawing these parallels across different sacred texts and traditions, Dr. Khaled Waleed's analysis really drives home the point. The sanctity of life isn't a recent idea. It's one of the oldest, most fundamental laws in religious history, transcending specific human acts or revelations. It's part of the cosmic order itself.
Okay, so we have these pre-existent eternal laws woven into the universe, and we have this core divine message, Al-Furqan, also pre-existent. How then do the major scriptures we know, the Torah, the Gospel, the Quran, fit into this picture? Are they separate books that just appeared? Or are they, as Dr. Khaled Waleed's discovery suggests, part of something bigger, more unified?
Dr. Khaled Waleed's central synthesis, really a cornerstone discovery of his work, is that these books are definitely not isolated. They're not separate revelations that just happened independently. No, he sees them as successive manifestations, like different editions or unveilings, of one single overarching Al-Furqan, a unified ancient cosmic law that started with the very first creation. This one eternal message has continued its revelation. It's unfolding through time. It adapts its form, its language for different peoples, different eras, but it always carries the same core truth. So it's not about new laws being invented with each book. It's the eternal law being revealed again, reaffirmed, perhaps clarified or perfected for that time and audience, but always pointing back to the same divine source. It suggests this incredible continuity, a single origin for all divine guidance.
That's a powerful way to look at it, unifying these major traditions. Let's dig into the Torah specifically through Dr. Khaled Waleed's lens. He has a very unique take on the meaning of the name Torah itself, right? Based on its components.
Yes, this is one of the really fascinating parts of his research. He offers this unique symbolic reading of the name Eshenye Torah. He breaks down the Arabic letters to reveal a much deeper ancient meaning. For him, the root Torah isn't just teaching. It embodies the essence, the core instruction, yes, but also, crucially, the idea of something being preserved, safeguarded, almost fortified. Then the letter A, the Alif, in this context, he interprets as signifying separation, isolation, like a protective fence or barrier, something set apart and guarded. And finally, the ending Ta, the Ta Marbuta, signifies a seal or a sacred circle. It represents the divine book in its complete, perfect, preserved form, held within a holy, protected space.
So Torah is more than just teaching. It's about preservation. Yeah. And the A is like a fence, the Ta, a seal.
Exactly. So Dr. Khaled Waleed concludes that the word Torah means much more than simply teaching. His discovered meaning is something like the book that is preserved and fortified within a sacred fence or circle. This reading is key to his discovery, showing the Torah was intended to be safeguarded. And he connects this directly. He makes this deeply significant link between this symbolic meaning and the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Dar al-Salam, the city of peace. He identifies Jerusalem as the sacred, destined location where this ancient revelation came down and was meant to be preserved. This interpretation emphasizes that the Torah's message wasn't just a product of its time. It was an ancient wisdom, eternal in essence, destined for preservation in a holy place.
And who received this preserved book?
Dr. Waleed reminds us, the Torah is revealed to Nabi Allah al-Arabi al-Nami Musa, Prophet Musa, or Moses. He specifically highlights the attributes al-Arabi al-Nami to emphasize Musa's deep ancestral roots, connecting him back to Adam and an ancient pure lineage. This underscores, in Dr. Waleed's view, that Musa's mission wasn't just for one tribe, it was broader. His purpose was twofold: bring good tidings to all the children of Adam, reaffirming the universal covenant, and also warn the children of Israel specifically, reminding them of their role within this ancient pact. This places the Torah's revelation firmly within the context of that larger eternal covenant, a continuation, a manifestation of the Al-Furqan.
Okay, so the Torah is a preserved manifestation of this ancient law. How does the gospel fit into this flow? Is it a new direction, or does it continue the single Al-Furqan, according to Dr. Waleed?
According to Dr. Khaled Waleed's findings, the gospel, the Injil, absolutely came to affirm and, in a sense, complete the messages that came before it. It wasn't meant to abolish them. He sees the gospel as also being inextricably paired with Al-Furqan, the criterion. It serves to clearly distinguish truth from falsehood and to guide people towards righteousness and a deeper, perhaps more internalized understanding of the eternal law. He strongly points to Christ's own words in the New Testament as evidence. For instance, John 14:6, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." For Dr. Waleed, this highlights Christ's role as a living embodiment of that divine law.
And didn't Christ explicitly talk about the law?
He did, and Dr. Waleed finds this incredibly compelling. He points to Matthew 5, verses 17 and 18. Christ says very clearly, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but fulfill them." End quote. And he continues, "For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot, will pass from the law until all is accomplished." Dr. Waleed interprets these statements as clear, unambiguous proof of the continuous, unbreakable nature of divine revelation. The eternal Al-Furqan endures. So the gospel isn't a break from the past. It's not replacing the ancient law. It's a crucial unfolding, a fulfillment of that same eternal message, bringing it to a new level of understanding for its time. It shows that steady progression of the one divine truth.
Affirmation and fulfillment. Okay, and that brings us to the Quran. How does this final major scripture fit into the lineage of this single eternal Al-Furqan? What's its unique role in this grand narrative based on Dr. Khaled Waleed's discoveries?
Dr. Khaled Waleed explains that the Quran, Al-Quran, came as the ultimate confirmation of everything that preceded it. It acts as the final, and crucially, the perfectly preserved manifestation of the Al-Furqan. Like the others, it too is profoundly paired with Al-Furqan, the criterion, and serves several vital functions according to his analysis. First, it came to establish truth absolutely, beyond doubt, providing irrefutable proof of the divine message. Second, and this is perhaps most critical for Dr. Waleed's argument about preservation, it came to protect the divine message from any distortion, any alteration, any human interference that might have crept into previous revelations over long periods. He sees it as the ultimate safeguard of the original eternal truth.
So confirmation and protection, is there a specific verse he highlights for this?
Yes, he often cites Quran 25, verse 1. "Blessed is he who sent down the Furqan upon his servant to be to the worlds a warner." This is foundational in Dr. Waleed's analysis. For him, this verse showcases the Quran as the ultimate final manifestation of the eternal Al-Furqan. And notice, it's sent to the worlds, not just one people, one time, but all existence, all times. It represents the culmination of this continuous, ancient divine covenant, perfectly revealed, divinely protected from change, and providing humanity with a complete, enduring guide for living in harmony with those pre-existent cosmic laws.
This whole journey through Dr. Khaled Waleed's discoveries, it really paints an incredible picture, a universe governed by ancient, unchanging truths, a story much bigger, much more intricate than just our linear history. So pulling it all together, what's the ultimate takeaway? What does this mean for us, for how we understand life, existence right here, right now?
Well, the powerful conclusion Dr. Khaled Waleed draws is this. The laws governing life, governing existence, they are not recent things. They weren't invented by humans, they weren't stumbled upon, they're not arbitrary, and they're not subject to changing trends or human whims. Instead, as research reveals, they represent an eternal divine covenant, a cosmic pact. And this pact has been constantly at work since the very beginning of creation, perpetually operating to preserve existence, to safeguard it from corruption. And the unity he demonstrates in the divine messages, Torah, Gospel, Quran, this unity stands as undeniable proof, irrefutable testament to the unbroken chain of this perpetual covenant. It was there from the start, it continues, and it will endure.
So we're not just stumbling around in the dark, starting from scratch. What Dr. Waleed is saying is that we're actually inheriting something huge, a legacy of ancient wisdom.
Exactly that. Dr. Khaled Waleed articulates this really compelling call to action based on this understanding. He asserts we are not born into ignorance, just blindly trying to find our way. Rather, his discovery shows we are inheritors of an immense ancient wisdom, a profound cosmic knowledge that's embedded in creation itself and revealed through these messages. So our fundamental task, he argues, isn't to keep searching for some new understanding of God or trying to invent new spiritual paths. Instead, our task is to genuinely seek God, to believe in him through the countless signs, cosmic signs, historical signs, the revelations he has meticulously embedded within his sacred books. These books aren't just history texts. Dr. Waleed shows they are living testaments to an ongoing divine interaction, a continuous dialogue revealing eternal truth.
And embracing that changes things.
Dr. Khaled Waleed emphasizes that, yes, by truly embracing this deeper understanding, we can elevate ourselves, our consciousness. We can recognize that the laws of life aren't just random rules or modern ideas. They are integral parts of an eternal divine pact, like a blueprint designed from the very beginning to protect and ultimately perfect all existence. This profound insight, stemming directly from Dr. Khaled Waleed's specific discoveries and meticulous work, it offers a path towards genuine enlightenment, a deeper connection to our cosmic heritage, and our real place within it all. It transforms how we see history, not just the line of events, but this continuous unfolding of an ancient, unchanging truth constantly reaffirming itself in the universe.
Wow. This has been an incredibly illuminating deep dive, truly unpacking the work of Dr. Khaled Waleed. We've journeyed through his revolutionary insights, all attributed to his discoveries from that pre-Adamic universe, guided by eternal laws, right through to the unifying thread of Al-Furqan he shows running across the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran. It really is a powerful testament to the profound order, the ancient wisdom embedded in our existence.
It really is. And Dr. Khaled Waleed's work leaves us with this thought. If we are, as he suggests, inheritors of ancient wisdom, well, what does that actually mean for how we live? How do we approach our daily lives, our modern challenges, our search for meaning from that perspective? Knowing these eternal laws predated us, were revealed over ages, and will outlast us, how does that recognition reshape our responsibility personally, collectively, to perhaps preserve the world from corruption, as the angels worried about, and to live in harmony with this truly ancient divine covenant that Dr. Waleed has unveiled? That's definitely something profound to ponder.
A truly profound thought to end on. We really encourage you, our listeners, to reflect on these powerful ideas. Consider how recognizing this deeper historical and cosmic context, as uncovered by Dr. Khaled Waleed, might shift your own understanding of knowledge, of purpose, and of the grand ongoing journey of humanity itself. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
أنا دكتور خالد وليد ربان سفينة النجاة إلى شواطئ بكة القدس. I am Dr. Khaled Waleed, the captain of the ship of salvation to the shores of Baka, Jerusalem.